Hello and welcome to Isle Window. My name is Brent. The goal of this channel usually is to make your life on the road easier and more pleasant, but right now I'm not traveling. I'm working from home. And because of the current health crisis, a lot of you are working from home as well. Other than the fact that I'm not traveling, working from home really isn't any different for me. When I'm not traveling, I work from home. I don't go into an office, and so this is something that I've gotten used to really over the last 5 years. For most of my career, for a good 25 years of my career, I went into an office every single day. So 5 years ago, when I made the switch from the nonprofit world to the private sector, I took a field job where basically my job was to meet with clients and customers around the country, but I didn't have an office to go to during the day. So I worked from home in Northern Virginia every day. And over those last 5 years, I've learned a few things about making working from home a little bit easier and a little bit more productive. Stick around, we're going to talk about it. My first tip is to set a daily routine. Now, it can be really tempting to just kind of roll out of bed, grab your laptop and start working in bed, or, sit in front of the couch eating popcorn while you're doing your work. But I think it's a good idea if you really want to get into the rhythm of work and make your work day different from your home day, then I think you need to keep as close as possible to the same routine you had when you were going into the office every day. So if you got up at 6 o'clock, got ready, and then commuted to the office, do something very similar. Get up at the same time, take a shower, get dressed, put on appropriate clothes. I don't think it's appropriate to work in your pajamas. I know it's comfortable, but you really, at least in my experience, I feel like I get a lot more done. I'm much more professional and I'm much more productive when I actually put real clothes on. So I think that's a great idea. Have a good breakfast. Try to get some exercise. You may not be able to go to the gym right now, so do a workout at home. Take the dog for a walk or something like that, just to kind of get yourself going. If you're not commuting, you've got anywhere from a half hour to an hour or more of extra time that you've got in your day to take care of yourself and to get ready to be productive. My second tip is to have a designated workspace. I've said this before, I feel really lucky. I've got a spare bedroom that I've been able to convert into an office and a YouTube studio. But a lot of you may not have that particular option, but I think it is very important for you to have a space that you use for work. Whether it's a corner of your bedroom, part of the garage, a spare bedroom like I've got, your den, your living room, any area that you can sort of say, this is where I work. If where you work is also where you relax, then that whole part, your whole life just kind of blends into one work, play experience, and that can really wear on you after a while. So if you can, set up an office, set up a separate workspace. If you can close the door, that's perfect. If you can't, then I think it's important that you follow tip number 3, and that is set some boundaries. This is particularly important if you have other people in the house with you while you're trying to work. I will admit, I do not have young children that live with me. All of my children are grown, so I don't have to deal with young children. And my hat is off to those of you that are currently working at home with kids that aren't in school. I'm not the expert for that. Stick around. I've got some links to some great videos on how to work from home when you've got young children at home. But there definitely are days and times when my wife is home, when my stepson is home, and you have to have boundaries. You have to understand I'm at work, they're at work, everybody has the things that they're doing throughout the day, and you need to find a way to set those boundaries. There could be some easy guys. For me, if I come into my office, and particularly if I close the door, that means I'm working and they leave me alone. They're really great at doing that. If you don't have a separate place where you can go and close the door and kind of shut yourself out from the rest of the people that you live with, then maybe some other visual clues, right? Maybe you've got your headphones on, or if you're in this chair, or if you're sitting at that table, that means that you're working. Not that they can't talk to you, not that they can't interact with you, but you still have a job to do, and it becomes difficult for you and stressful for you and for them if you don't understand what those boundaries are. And those boundaries are a lot easier to follow and to respect for everybody if you follow tip number 4 and have a designated start and stop time to your day. Now, this very well might be mandated by your employer. If you are required to be on the clock and online and checked in from say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 9 to 6 or whatever your work day is, that's pretty simple to do, right? It's like, hey, I have to work from 8 to 5. And that becomes pretty simple. For me, I don't have that. And so I actually found myself not too long ago getting into a habit of waking up. I get up pretty early and starting work at like 6 a.m. Originally it'd be like, oh, I'll get up at 6 a.m. I'll check my email real quick, then I'll go to the gym or whatever. I found that I was getting up, checking my email at 6 a.m., getting right into work, and just working straight through. And then because I'm on the East Coast and sometimes my customers and clients are on the West Coast, they might need to have meetings that don't start until 6 p.m., 7 p.m. East Coast time. And I would find myself working 10, 12, 14-hour days, which can really be difficult and can really absolutely crush your motivation, and you can get really burned out and discouraged. So have a specific start time so that your customers, your boss, your coworkers know when you're going to start, and a stop time for the same reasons. And you need to stick with both of those. Don't just say, well, I'm going to maybe extend my day a little bit, or I'm going to come in a little bit later, something like that. Try to be as punctual and consistent with the times that you're working as you possibly can. And don't forget to interact with other humans. Now, right now, if you're watching this when I first uploaded during the public health quarantine and the stay-at-home orders, that might be difficult. And so reach out with web meetings and phone calls and Slack and instant messaging and all of those technologies that we have right now to interact with people. But even after that, if you continue to work from home, then I do think it's important that you interact with other people. So once it's okay and once it's safe to get out, then go to a coffee shop, go out for lunch, meet friends or colleagues for lunch, have lunch with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Just get an opportunity every day, if at all possible, to interact with other people. If you're just sitting in front of your computer banging away nonstop, you can really burn yourself out if you do that day after day after day. So hang out with other people as much as you can. And don't forget to take a break. Again, this is something that I often am really bad at. Once I start working, I just keep going. And it's not good. It's not good for me. It's not good for anybody if you work all the way through without any kind of a break. I like to set myself a timer of about 90 minutes. So every 90 minutes, my phone will go off and tell me, hey, it's time to take a break. It might just be that I get up, I go to the restroom, or I go get some water, I get some more coffee, or maybe I'll take the dog out, take the dog for a 5-10 minute walk or something like that, just to get away from your desk, away from your laptop or whatever you're working on, and get out and have a little bit of a change of pace. One thing that I feel that often gets overlooked in the whole discussion of work from home is the idea that this is work. A lot of people focus on the home part of it, but this is work. So be professional. And that's not just in, the content and the tone of your emails, but the tone of your phone calls, the tone of your web meetings if you're, on your laptop or on a webcam. It's very important that you are professional. You can find yourself slipping a little bit when you're at home. It's really easy to do because it's a little more casual, it's a little more comfortable. Your bed's just like 2 doors down the hall, and it can be really easy to kind of fall into this very lackadaisical kind of demeanor. And I think it's important to try to up that a little bit, and maybe if dressing even a little better than you would like to, maybe putting on a collared shirt, maybe even putting on a tie, if that's going to help you sort of raise your game and make you feel a little bit more professional and like you're on and you're working, then I think that is a valuable thing that you can do. And the other nice thing is if you do kind of dress up a little bit, maybe put on, something that you wouldn't wear at home, when you're done working and you take that off, you take that tie or take that collared shirt off or whatever, then that signals to you and your brain that you're home. You're done working and you can just relax. My next tip, and I talked about this extensively in this video right here, is to understand the etiquette as well as the software that you use to connect remotely with your colleagues. I won't go into it too much here, but just know that it's very important to understand how the software works, how your equipment works, and the various rules and etiquette around having remote meetings. This next tip is something that I still don't follow very often, and that is don't snack too much, don't overeat. It's really tempting to just go down to the kitchen and grab some chips or cookies. My wife made some great cookies over the weekend. They're fantastic, and they're calling to me down there. I should probably ignore their cries, but they're really loud and they're really delicious. Anyway, try not to do that. You can really sort of pack on the pounds and really sort of threaten your health if you're not careful when you're working from home. So make a good breakfast, have a good lunch, try to make sure that you've got healthy snacks available, and don't just binge and overeat. Don't bring the bag of Doritos to your desk to work. A, it's not professional, and B, you're gonna get fat like I did. Which leads me into my last tip, is take some time to get fit. If you are saving 2 hours a day in the commute that you no longer have to take, that's a lot of extra time that you have to pay attention to your health and your fitness. So you may not be able to go to the gym particularly right now, but after this crisis ends, gyms will reopen. So go to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, you can't make it because of weather or whatever, there are so many workout videos and things that you can do at home, whether you have a treadmill or an exercise bike, a rowing machine, or you're going to do calisthenics or Zumba or whatever it might be. Take some time, invest in yourself. You're invested in your career, you're invested in everything else that you're doing. Take time to invest in you. And these are 10 tips that I have tried to put into practice in my life and in my career of working from home for these last 5 years. I think I've gotten pretty good at it. Obviously, I still need to work on the taking care of my fitness and not eating too much aspects of these particular rules. But if you can do these things, and I think whether it's a temporary period of working from home or if it's more long-term for you, I think you'll be very successful and your life will be a little bit better and a little bit more balanced. I know this wasn't really much of a travel video, but thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the video. If this was helpful to you, give us a like, share the video with your friends, and until next time, work well, and I'll see you soon. Oh, and like I said, why don't you check out some of these other videos here for some great tips on how to work from home when you have young children that are home from school or maybe aren't even school age yet. Again, thanks for watching. See ya.